Hello boys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for episode 13 of the driver career here for the Belgian Grand Prix. As you can see, just changing over some engine components. It does certainly look like we will need to take some engine penalties at some point before the end of the season, as now we're just putting on some upgrades. I was just having a look at what else was available, but I'm pretty sure in the end decided to go with a reliability upgrade. I'm pretty sure. One for the energy store. Yep. And we also have some redesigned brake ducts coming in which fail. That's not a great start to the episode. So our brake ducts fail and we don't have enough points to buy it again. So hopefully after practice... Oh, I forgot it's a sprint. So we got quali, and then after practice hopefully we can re-buy that upgrade. But yeah, let's get into quali. So here we are starting our first run in Q1. Spa, again, like most of these tracks, as we go way deep there. Not a track that I spend a lot of time on. So yeah, let's try and put in a solid lap as we go up the Rouge there. Opening up the DRS. Onto this long straight. Now the race is going to be like wet for the whole race, so I did put a wet setup on the car, so we might have to sacrifice our qualifying a little bit, just like we did in Britain. But yeah, I mean, at Silverstone it didn't really affect us too much in terms of quali. But yeah, let's see how we go here. As you see, Nick De Vries, we're going to look at the split times to him after we finish Sector 2. Overall, not a bad lap so far. It's been decent apart from Turn 1. So it's just all about getting into the rhythm at Spa. It's a long lap, so especially in the races, we're about 1.2 seconds up on De Vries. It's usually a longer race in the dry than a normal dry race at another track, so yeah, it'll definitely be longer if you add the weather into it as well. As we go up to the bus stop, a little bit wide going through the second apex there, but we end up doing a 143.1, which is solid enough for P5, 4/10 behind Max Verstappen and ahead of Leclerc. So yeah, that will see us into Q2. As you can see, some rain out there now. So myself and Albon making it through Leclerc there in P11. So yeah, it should be very interesting Q2. As we see, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Stroll and De Vries along with Norris. Surprise Q1 exit for him. So yeah, let's get into Q2. Here we are for our first run in Q2. As you can see, the intermediate tyres are on the car. The rain has come here in Spa. Hopefully we can put in a solid quality time. We're not too bad in the wet this season. We've been pretty decent. So yeah, let's hopefully aim for Q3. Obviously the car is pretty decent at this stage. We're like pretty much like right in that midfield battle with McLaren, Alpine and even Aston Martin in terms of the on-track stuff. So yeah, car's looking decent at this point of the season, so hopefully another points finish in the main race is on the cards, as Charles Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the session with a 152 point something. Didn't quite catch it. So yeah, look, so far lap's been okay, pretty decent, not bad for a first lap in the wet at Spa. So yeah, I did put a wet setup on the car for this race weekend. Not sure if I mentioned it already, but yeah, so we are, I suppose, there, but yeah, coming to run. Q2. Coming up to the bus stop now. The track, I mean, the rain has stopped at this point. I'm pretty sure when we first started the lap, it was still spitting a bit. That's good enough to put us P3 that lap. But it looks like the rain has stopped, so hopefully we're going to see some dries on the car, and we will, as we get into our second and final run of quali. So Perez letting us go by there as the checkered flag drops. Delta at this stage kind of relevant. Obviously we're going to be quicker than our time in the wet, so it's all about looking at that sector split times on the left hand side there. Let's have a look. We're a 10th down on Piastri in P11, so we're going to need to improve by quite a bit if we want to make it through into Q3. So now getting the car slowed down. It's a tricky corner, that one. Very easy to run wide. So yeah, P15 at the moment. Albon in P13, so maybe the car just doesn't suit the track as well. But yeah, in terms of differentiating, you know, me being good at a track to how the car like suits it, I just look at Albon. Obviously, if he's around the same pace as me, then you know that means the car's up to it there. Or if I'm beating him, it means maybe I'm just on it, or you know, vice versa. But yeah, P13 not what we wanted for Alex, and if we get ahead of him, he'll be pushed down to P14. So let's have a look. Let's see where this puts us. Is it going to be enough to get us up into Q3? No, it's going to be P12. Damn it. Not what we wanted. We really wanted to get into Q3 there, missing out by about, what's that? Half a tenth. Wow, shocking. That's so frustrating. Alex ending up P14, and other cars eliminated: Piastri, Ocon, and Bottas. So, wow. Here we are before the sprint race, just putting on some upgrades, repurchasing that failed upgrade from earlier on, and also I'm pretty sure we ended up purchasing another reliability upgrade. So, yeah, let's get into the sprint race.
Fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Gasly, Tsunoda, Zhou, Oscar Piastri, O'Reilly, Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Norris, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Stroll, and Nick de Vries. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Strategy is pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to be doing A-laps on the mediums.
The formation lap gets underway ahead of today's sprint. It's going to be interesting to see who gets pole position. We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Here we are on the grid as the lights go out here at Spa. And we get a pretty decent start, just slotting up the inside there. Piastri getting past Hamilton, Albon following us through there. We're going to just keep on up the inside of Zhou into turn 1. And we got Sonoda and Gasly. We're going to squeeze out Zhou behind. Hopefully we can catch up to Sonoda and Gasly. Sonoda doing a great job in that AlphaTauri considering how bad De Vries has been. Hopefully they update, sorry if I can bloody speak. Hopefully they update the game soon and Daniel Ricciardo is in the career, obviously for Nick De Vries. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. They get a little bunched up. We did have a little bit of a look down the inside of Sonoda there. Not really a place you want to be passing. And we're just going to send one up the inside there. We make it work. Now we're on the back of Gasly. Who else is ahead there? We've got Alonso. And then you got the top three, really, of Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. So hopefully the plan is just to try and stay with Gasly and make a bit of a gap to Sonoda behind. As now we're using the overtake, not being wide on it, we are using quite a bit of it. As now we're just slightly catching on Gasly there, through there. Are we going to send one at the bus stop? Yes, we are. Oh, get it stopped very nicely there. That was very nicely done. Squeeze him a bit on the apex there, and we get the move done. Now let's have a look and see what we can do to Alonso on them soft tyres. He's going to be quite quick at the start of the race. But we are just going to send one right up the inside of turn 1 as we ghost a bit there. I'm not sure why. That is a great move. We'll definitely take that. And now we've gone from what? P12 to P6 in like a lap. So very good start for us here. And now we've just got to try and defend and try and stay in the toe of George Russell. As Alonso now coming back at us on them softs. We are going to hold it around the outside, defend very nicely there. And yeah, let's just see what happens now as we move a little bit later into the lap. Side by side with Alonso. Oh, good racing there. Gave him plenty of room on the outside. And now he's going to dive on up the inside of the bus stop. He is. We're going to hold the position, it looks like. We give him a bit of room out there on the outside. Using that overtake again. DRS now enabled. Let's have a look now. Is he going to come back at us into turn 1? No. But he is definitely going to try and have a crack at us down the straight. As we cut to that now, and he is going to make his way past. Are we going to have another go? We're going to switch to the outside. Try and go back around the outside of him, and we do. What a great move from us. That is very nice. Now moving on to lap 4, halfway through this race. And is he going to have a look around the outside of the bus stop? He is. We're giving the room just on the inside there. And again, get a very nice run out of that final corner up to the line. And now is he going to have a go at us? He's looking for the outside of turn 1. Again, we've had a great battle with Alonso here. Now let's have a look. Let's see what happens as we go. Oh my god, we're going side by side. Oh my god, we're going side by side. Holy crap, that is great racing to keep it within track limits from both cars. As now we head further down that stretch as Gasly ended up getting past. And Alonso, we have a little bit of contact there. We go off the track, but we end up getting the position. So now we're just there to try and catch up to Gasly, as he's got about a second lead already, just from me and Alonso fighting there. So now we've really got to put the head down. We haven't got that much ARS to play with, so it's very important to try and save up a little bit, as hard as that is, because we are constantly defending from Alonso behind. Is he going to have a look around the outside? No. So we're going to hold on for now here in P7, as Gasly is just walking away from us now, nearly 2 seconds ahead, as we have about nearly 2 laps to go, as it looks like Alonso's going to get a good run on us, but he falls back into line there. Looks like he's trying to set us up for a move into the bus stop chicane. Let's have a look. He looked to the outside, kind of half went for it, and then he did go for it. So we are going to give him the room as we have a bit of a moment coming out of the final corner, but again getting a nice exit and being able to get through to turn 1 without being pressured too much. Now as we move a little bit further down the road, we see Alonso getting a great run with that slipstream. We don't have much battery to play with. We're just going to send one straight back up the inside. Obviously Alonso on them softs, they would be pretty done by now. And obviously our mediums are still okay. But yeah, that's a very nice move to regain the position there. Now as we move further down the road, say me and Alonso side by side once again. Now we've got about nearly a lap to go. It's going to be hard to defend from Alonso. Obviously not too much battery as here he comes on that charge. Looks like he's just going to back out though. Shaping up for another move into the bus stop. So let's see if we can pull it off. We're going to move to the racing line. We defend it pretty well there. Very solid from us. As now we move on to the final lap of this sprint race. We see Alonso again on the charge. Coming straight for us. He's going to have a little look at the inside. We're going to defend very nicely though. Alex Albon doing a good job. Up from P14 to P9. Very solid race for both of us Williams cars in this one. So maybe Albon could get past Alonso and get a point for himself in this sprint race. As now, with about half a lap to go, we're just trying to hold on here. Under 2 tenths, very close between me and Alonso. As Max Verstappen comes across the line to take pole for the race tomorrow. Go side by side with Alonso for a bit there, defend. Going into the bus stop. And we are going to hold on to take P7 and pick up a couple of points. Very good stuff.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So there it is, that's a sprint. Very solid race for both of us. Picking up 2 points from that sprint race. I'll definitely take that coming from P12. We had a very good first lap. Now, moving down the grid, we can see De Vries there in 20th. Surprise, surprise. Any other notable things? Zhou dropped from P10 to P14. Not very good for him. Nice went up from P16 to P13. So not too bad. We are P9 in the driver's standings on 41 points. So doing a very good job there. Ahead of Gasly and Stroll. Just about 11 points behind Norris. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I'll definitely take it. In the constructors, we are now level with McLaren on 59 points. So that race for P5 is heating up for sure.
Welcome then, as we take a step back into the nostalgic golden days of motorsport. Spa is unashamedly a throwback, and all the better for it. Climbs, drops, sharp turns, chicanes, sweeping high-speed corners, all while taking in some of the most beautiful scenery that Europe has to offer. This might sound like a travel brochure, but it's not. It's a race day. Welcome along to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps is a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 rights and 10 lefts, giving us a grand total of 19 corners. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in the conditions, we're not going to be seeing anything like that today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Gasly, O'Reilly, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Hamilton, Zhou, Bottas, Tsunoda, Stroll, Ocon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Well, it's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are three big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres keep.
Here we are on the grid, pretty self-explanatory. Inters for the whole race with a pit stop at the halfway point. So hopefully we can move forward in this one, and yeah, let's get into the race.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway. These are wet conditions here today. Each driver will no doubt be mindful of the wet surface as they prepare to race around the track. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. But the question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
And it's lights out, and away we go for the main race here in Belgium. Getting not a bad start, not great, a little bit cautious into turn 1. Just getting back past Alonso, back up into P7. Squeezing him out a bit on the exit there. As Russell and Leclerc just ahead. You can see it's very wet out there, very dangerous. You would think in real life, especially going up the Eau Rouge, up to Radion. And now onto the straight. Got about a 5/10 gap to Hamilton behind. Are we going to dive on Russell? Oh, we had a look, to be fair. We did have a look. And in theory, the car should be pretty decent because it is a wet setup that is on the car. But even with that wet setup, it's still going to be very hard to try and defend from Hamilton. Obviously in a much quicker car in that Mercedes. As we did have a little look there around the outside of George Russell. Unfortunately, didn't come off for us. Now we move to the end of the lap then, the bus stop. We get the move done on George Russell there, just sending one up the inside as Sainz takes fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And now we've got about a second gap to Russell behind. So very, very solid. As now we're going to look to pressure Gasly. Thought we might have been able to go side by side. Oh, we've gained a lot of time there. Are we going to have a... Oh my god, we're going side by side again. Just like we did with Alonso. Oh, we nearly lose it. And that is why you do not go side by side through there. Very nearly chucked it in the wall. So let's see what we can do now. As we're going to send one around the outside of Pierre Gasly. What a move. Very solid move there. We'll definitely take that. As now we have some yellow flags, it looks like. And it is Zhou out of the session. And now we have a VSC. I doubt it's going to change anything this early on in the race, as eventually we get back underway towards the end of the second lap with about a second gap to Gasly behind and a 2-second gap to Leclerc ahead. So we're in a pretty decent spot right now as we get a little bit deep there. But yeah, no, it's looking solid at the moment. In a very good position to score some very good points. So Hopefully we can just keep it pointing the right way and hopefully bring it home in the top 10. As now we move on to lap 3, or the end of it. Pierre Gasly has caught up and we go a little bit deep, kind of through the bus stop, and Gasly right on our gearbox. So this is going to be quite a tough little battle. Obviously very important for the constructors at this stage, halfway through the season, putting up a good fight for that P5 spot at the moment. As now we move on to lap 8, and Carlos Sainz looks like he's actually pitted for wets as we go deep into turn 1, but I'm pretty sure he put wets on there. Wow, interesting. As now we move a little bit further into the lap, we do have yellow flags. I'm pretty sure that was our teammate Alex Albon having a spin or a moment. I didn't quite catch it, but I'm pretty sure it is him. Fortunately, he's not out of the race. Just lost quite a few positions as we go wide on the exit there. Now we move on to lap 11. This race has gone quite quickly, mainly just because there hasn't really been much happening. We've just been driving at a solid pace to stay ahead of Gasly and stay, probably about that, around that 8th mark, if I can speak properly. But yeah, not quick enough to catch up to Leclerc, obviously, as now we are going to dive it into the pits. Very tricky pit entry there. It's quite claustrophobic as we get the car stopped pretty well there. A little bit cautious, but in the wet, don't want to risk anything. Let's see how the boys do. They've been very good this season in terms of the pit stops. I think most of them have been around that 2.3 second mark. Let's see what they do today. Again, 2.3 seconds onto a new set of inters. Very good work from the boys. And now we just have to keep doing what we were doing before we come out in P10. So we're still in the points. We've had a very solid race. Now we move on to lap 12, catching up to Stroll, Piastri and Hulkenberg. See if we can make a move past these guys. It's quite tricky at this part of the circuit on the wet tyres. Even though they're still wet tyres, you know what I mean? Nearly getting crossed up on that curb then. I love the way the rain light on the back of the car, or even just, if you're low on ERS, how it reflects off the road. As now, I'm pretty sure all these guys are going to be pitting, so we're going to go around the outside of Stroll. Hulkenberg and Piastri diving in the pits. Seems that Lance Stroll is going to stay out for one more lap as we move back up into P7. Now up to P5 as Russell is in the pit lane, as well as Gasly. So we're basically back where we were, which is always good. Hopefully we have a big gap to Russell behind. Look at that. Hamilton's actually got ahead of him. I'm not sure what's happened there for Russell. But now we have some more yellow flags. It looks like an Aston Martin. Yes, it is Lance Stroll out of the session. And we have another virtual safety car. Again, I don't think it's going to change too much, because most of the drivers have made their pit stop. But yeah, already up to lap 14. Like I said, this race went pretty quick because we had some solid pace to be, I suppose, ahead of the guys behind. But obviously we're not quick enough to challenge for that podium spot, or try and catch up to a Red Bull at least. So now we move on to the end of lap 14 as Carlos Sainz in the pits again to take off those wet tyres. Obviously didn't work for him. I'm not sure why he decided to pit though. I'm not sure what he's done. Leclerc also on the wets. I'm not sure what Ferrari are doing at this stage. It doesn't feel like the car felt fine to be on inters for the whole race. Now, lap 17 or the end of it, we have George Russell catching up to us now. So he has picked up the pace quite a bit, as it's going to be a big battle here for P4. We don't usually find ourselves up this far. Who knows, maybe a late race safety car, or, you know, something could bring us into the game for a podium, a retirement, or something like that. Wishful thinking. Now we move on to the end of lap 18, and George Russell did send one, and he goes a little bit deep, and we do get the place back. It's been a solid fight here with George Russell. Depending on Hamilton, could be a future teammate of ours. Like I have mentioned, I think the aim for us to end up at Mercedes, as we have a safety car. There is a safety car. Who's out? Who's out of the race? It looks like an Alpine. I'm not sure who it is. No idea who's out of the race, but it is a safety car. Unfortunately, it didn't last long, but we were able to catch up to Sergio Perez, as we're going to dive one at turn one at the restart. For some reason, there were still yellow flags, so it is an illegal overtake. We're going to have to give that back to Sergio. Ah, that is so annoying. We could have had a podium. Ah, man, I don't know. Perez was way too quick. Maybe would have probably got back past us anyway, even if there wasn't yellow flags. I'm not sure why they were out on the restart. But anyway, P4 is still a great result for the team if we can manage to keep it ahead of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton behind. As hopefully we can just try and stay with Perez. Ooh, we go for a big dive. Absolutely massive dive. But we did end up getting back past Russell there. Unbelievable dive. Absolutely stupid. But yeah, we did end up making it back past Russell there. Still trying to just stay with Perez. As Leclerc there in P2 on them wets. Doing okay. So I'm not sure why Sainz pitted. But anyway, looks like P4 is going to be the maximum today, which I would definitely take. As now we move on to the final lap of the race. Crossing the line. All of our deploy used. And now we saved up about 40% there. So, you know, one last attack at Sergio Perez. I think that chance is gone now. Now it's all about defending. And we did an alright job. Managed to bring it home as we take a lot of inside curb there. In P4, what a result for the boys. That is absolutely great stuff. You can see I'm pretty happy there, waving the wheel. Come on, boys.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
What a great race then, and a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So there you go. That has been the Belgian Grand Prix. Very solid weekend for myself. Qualifying in P12, moving up to P7, and then from P7 up to P4. Unfortunately, Albon, after having a spin or whatever happened in the early stages of the race, unfortunately couldn't recover and finished down in P16 there. So now as we have a look at the driver's standings, we are 1 point ahead of Lando Norris there, catching up to Fernando Alonso for best of the rest. Yeah, so that's pretty solid from us. Albon, only on 18 points, needs to start pulling his weight a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Should probably raise the difficulty up a little bit more. I think that was on 105 or 106 or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just put the difficulty up a bit and see if he can pick up the pace a bit. So, P5, pretty solid. I'll definitely take that. Catching up to Aston Martin as Red Bull hold a slim lead over Ferrari in the constructors' standings. So, it's been another video. So, thanks for watching. As always, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you for the next one.